Hello, my wonderful friends, and welcome back to Grow English Mastery. I'm Scarlett, and I'm so glad you've decided to join me for another English learning adventure today. In our last lesson, we discussed the very public and dramatic falling out between two global figures, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. We saw how a powerful alliance could crumble into a war of words. But what happens next? What happens when one of the world's most innovative and wealthy individuals feels disconnected from the existing political system? Does he simply step back, or does he think about building something entirely new? That is exactly what we are exploring today. We're diving into the fascinating idea that came out of this conflict. Elon Musk's proposal to create his own political party, a so-called America Party. This isn't just a story about politics. It's a story about ambition, ideology, and challenging the status quo. For us as B1 English learners, this topic is a golden opportunity. Why? Because talking about possibilities, hypothetical situations, and future plans requires a specific and very important grammar tool, conditional sentences. Many learners find conditionals tricky, but today we are going to make them simple and clear, all while learning some fantastic vocabulary related to politics. So, here are our learning objectives for this session. First, we will explore the story behind Musk's America Party idea and what it represents. Second, we will learn 10 key vocabulary words that will help you discuss politics and ideology with much more confidence. Our main grammar focus will be on mastering conditional sentences, the if clauses that let us talk about everything from real future plans to impossible dreams. And finally, I will provide you with practical tips to practice your listening, speaking, reading, and writing using today's fascinating subject. By the end of this lesson, you'll not only understand a complex, real-world story, but you'll also be able to express your own ideas about the future and hypothetical situations much more fluently. Let's begin. To understand why Elon Musk would even consider founding a new political party, we have to remember the context of his conflict with Donald Trump. As we discussed before, these two men had once formed a surprising alliance. Musk served as a presidential advisor, and they seemed to share a goal of making the government more efficient. But that relationship broke down completely over disagreements on policy and turned into a very public and personal feud. Feeling alienated from the political leadership, Musk did what he often does. He took to social media to float a radical new idea. He suggested the creation of a new political force in America, a third party. He called it the America Party. This wasn't a formal announcement, but rather a concept he shared to gauge public reaction. The core ideology he described for this hypothetical party was one of moderation. He described himself as being fiscally conservative and socially liberal. This means he generally supports a government that is careful with money and spending, but on social issues like personal freedoms, he holds more progressive views. His proposed America Party would therefore be a centrist party. In the American political landscape, which is dominated by two major parties, the Democrats on the left and the Republicans on the right, a centrist party aims to occupy the middle ground. The goal would be to attract voters from both sides who feel that their own parties have become too extreme. The platform of such a party would likely advocate for common-sense policies, technological innovation, and long-term problem-solving, rather than focusing on the divisive cultural issues that fuel so much political polarization today. The idea of a third party is not new in American politics, but it is incredibly difficult to make one viable. The system is built to support the two major parties, and new parties struggle to get funding, media attention, and a place on the ballot in elections. Historically, third parties have rarely won major elections, but they can have a huge impact by bringing new ideas into the national conversation or by taking votes away from one of the main candidates. The public reaction to Musk's idea was mixed. Some people were excited. They saw it as a potential solution to the endless fighting and gridlock in Washington. They believed a party led by a forward-thinking innovator like Musk could finally break the cycle. Others expressed deep skepticism. They argued that Musk, despite his genius in business and engineering, had no real political experience. They questioned whether he had the patience and skills to build a grassroots political movement. And of course, many people dismissed it as just another one of Musk's impulsive social media moments, not a serious proposal. Regardless of whether the America Party ever becomes a reality, the very suggestion of it tells us a lot about the current political climate and the desire many people have for a different path. It's a story about what happens when frustration with the present leads to imagining a different future. To help us discuss these ideas with more clarity, let's learn some essential political vocabulary. Here are 10 important words related to our topic. Our first word is to found. F-O-U-N-D. In this context, to found means to establish or create an institution or organization, like a company or a party. For example, Elon Musk considered whether he should found a new political party. You could also say, the university was founded in 1636. Second, we have ideology. I-D-E-O-L-O-G-Y. An ideology is a system of ideas and beliefs that forms the basis of an economic or political theory. For example, the proposed party's ideology would be a mix of conservative and liberal ideas. Another example is, capitalism and socialism are competing economic ideologies. Our third word is centrist. C-E-N-T-R-I-S-T. A centrist is a person who holds moderate political views, not extreme ones. The adjective is also centrist. For example, the America Party was designed to appeal to centrist voters. You could also say, as a politician, she was known for her centrist approach to policy. Fourth on our list is platform. P-L-A-T-F-O-R-M. In politics, a platform is the declared set of goals and policies of a political party. For example, the party's platform included tax reform and investment in green technology. Another sentence is, before you vote, you should read each candidate's platform. Our fifth word is polarization. P-O-L-A-R-I-Z-A-T-I-O-N. Polarization is the division into two sharply contrasting groups or sets of opinions. For example, many people feel that political polarization is the biggest problem in the country today. Another example, the debate led to a polarization of the community. Number 6 is skepticism. skepticism. Skepticism is an attitude of doubt about whether something is true or useful. For example, many political experts expressed skepticism about Musk's plan. You could also say, I have a great deal of skepticism about his ability to finish the project on time. Seventh, we have the word hypothetical. hypothetical. Hypothetical means imagined or suggested, but not necessarily real or true. It's based on a hypothesis. For example, for now, the America Party is just a hypothetical idea. You can also say, let's consider a hypothetical situation. What would you do if you won the lottery? Our 8th word is to advocate. advocate. To advocate for something means to publicly support or recommend it. For example, the new party would advocate for policies that support technological innovation. Another example, she is a strong advocate for human rights. Number 9 is viable. viable. Viable means capable of working successfully or feasible. For example, the biggest question is whether a third party is politically viable in the United States. You can also say, we need to find a viable solution to this problem, and our final word is grassroots. grassroots. Grassroots refers to the most basic level of an activity or organization involving ordinary people. For example, to succeed, any new party needs strong grassroots support. Another example is, the campaign started as a small grassroots movement. Now that we've explored the political vocabulary behind this idea, let's dive into the grammar we need to talk about hypothetical situations like this. The next section is our grammar focus on conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are the if sentences. They are essential because they allow us to talk about possibilities, dreams, imagined situations, and past regrets. There are several types, but today we will master the 3 most important ones: the first, second, and third conditionals. Let's start with the first conditional. We use this to talk about real and possible situations in the future. It's for things that could really happen. The structure is if plus present simple, will plus base verb. For example, thinking about the America Party. If Musk gets enough grassroots support, he will launch the party officially. This is a real possibility. Let's look at another one. If the party advocates for popular policies, it will attract many voters. The if clause states the condition, and the main clause states the result. Now for the second conditional. This is where things get more hypothetical. We use the second conditional to talk about unreal, imagined, or impossible situations in the present or future. The structure is if plus past simple, would plus base verb. Look at this example. If Elon Musk founded the America Party today, it would face many challenges. We use the past simple founded, but we are talking about a hypothetical future. We are imagining it. Here's another. If I had $1 billion, I would start my own company. This is a classic dream or hypothetical situation. Notice one special rule. With the verb to be, we often use were for all pronouns in the if clause, which is a bit more formal. If he were the candidate, his platform would be very different. Finally, we have the third conditional. We use this to look back at the past and imagine a different result. It's for talking about past regrets or different possibilities that did not happen. The structure is, if plus past perfect would have plus past participle. Let's connect this to our story. If Musk had not had a disagreement with Trump, he might not have thought of creating a new party. The disagreement happened, so this is an imagined different past. Another example, if the party had been founded 10 years ago, it might have been more successful. It wasn't founded 10 years ago, so we are speculating about a different history. Mastering these three structures will dramatically improve your fluency. First conditional for real future plans, second conditional for present or future dreams and hypotheticals, and third conditional for looking back and imagining a different past. So, how can you practice these conditionals and make them a natural part of your English? Let's go over some practical techniques. For your listening skills, listen to interviews with politicians, entrepreneurs, or even just friends discussing plans. Pay close attention to whenever you hear the word if. Is the speaker talking about a real future plan? First conditional? Are they dreaming or imagining? Second conditional? Or are they talking about a past regret? Third conditional. Try to identify the type. For speaking, this is a fun one. With a friend or language partner, play the what-if game. Ask each other hypothetical questions using the second and third conditionals. For example, what would you do if you could travel anywhere in the world right now? Or, what would you have studied at university if you had had a completely free choice? Answering these questions forces you to use the structures correctly. For reading, look for articles that discuss future strategies or analyze past events. Business and political news sites are great for this. As you read, highlight the conditional sentences and identify which type they are. This will help you see how they are used in real, high-quality writing. And for your writing practice, let's use the comments section below. I want you to answer this question. If you could create a new political party in your country, what would be its two main policies? You must use at least one first and one second conditional sentence in your answer. For example, if I created a party, its main policy would be to protect the environment. If we invest in green energy now, our future will be much cleaner. Can't wait to read your creative ideas. Now, let's think about the real-world application or the inspirational part of our story. The idea of a third party, like Musk's hypothetical America Party, is about more than just one person's ambition. It's about the desire for new ideas and the courage to challenge a system that feels broken. Throughout history, great changes have often started with a single person or a small group advocating for a different way. While most third parties in the U.S. have not won the presidency, they have often been incredibly influential. They introduce ideas that at first seem radical but are later adopted by the main parties. The lesson here is not about whether you agree with Elon Musk or not. It's about the importance of being willing to think differently and to propose new solutions to old problems. It's an encouragement to not just accept the status quo, but to ask, what if we did things another way? This spirit of innovation is what drives progress, not just in technology, but in society and in our own personal lives. And that brings us to the end of another lesson here at Grow English Mastery. You have been fantastic today, engaging with a complex topic and a challenging grammar point. Let's quickly summarize our key takeaways. First, we explored the fascinating story behind Elon Musk's hypothetical America Party, understanding it as a response to political polarization and a desire for a centrist alternative. Second, we learned 10 essential vocabulary words for discussing politics, including ideology, platform, polarization, and viable, which will make you sound more knowledgeable and precise. And third, our main grammar focus was mastering the 3 main conditional sentences. We learned to use the first conditional for real possibilities, the second for hypotheticals and dreams, and the third for imagining a different past. As you continue on your English learning journey, I encourage you to embrace the spirit of these conditional sentences. Use them to talk about your real plans for the future. Use them to dream and imagine the life you want to build. And use them to reflect on your past and learn from it. Language is the tool you use to design your future. Don't be afraid to ask, what if? Don't be afraid to make mistakes when trying a new grammar structure. Every attempt is a step forward. Be a confident architect of your own thoughts and your own voice in English. Thank you so much for your hard work and for spending your valuable time with me today. If you found this lesson helpful, please show your support with a comment below. I would love to read your ideas for your own political party. If you have a friend who is also learning English and might find this topic interesting, please share this video with them. Learning is always more rewarding as a shared journey. And finally, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Grow English Mastery and click the notification bell so you can join me for our next lesson. My name is Scarlett. Keep dreaming. Keep practicing, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye for now.